What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Thursday, October 12th, 2023, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 1:02 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some very concerning information coming out of the Middle East. So, earlier this morning, apparently Israel bombed the airports in Damascus and Aleppo, and this is being reported by the Syrian news agency SANA. Apparently, Israel damaged the runways at the Damascus and Aleppo airports, rendering them unusable. We also have the Russian propaganda news channel Sputnik reporting that also that Israel bombed the Aleppo International Airport, but they're claiming that it was bombed with missiles that came from the Mediterranean. So you got to take that with a grain of salt because it's Sputnik. But it does look like Israel carried out some kind of a strike, an airstrike on Damascus and Aleppo international airports, which makes sense because they don't want Iran to funnel in equipment and personnel to reinforce Hamas and Hezbollah. Okay, so this war is expanding, guys. Okay, and the Bible says that Damascus would become a ruinous heap in the end times. Okay, so if this war continues, Israel could use the Samson option and launch nukes at all their enemies if they feel like their survival is threatened. And that could involve launching nukes at Damascus. Okay. So the war is expanding, guys. Before I get further into the Israel and Middle East news, I want to just quickly update you on what's going on in Eastern Europe because we have some things going on over there. The Netherlands announced that they're going to be sending 18 F 16 fighters to Romania to use them to train Ukrainian pilots. And apparently, uh, Latvia is going to be closing two border crossings with Russia. The Vientuli and Pededze checkpoints are going to be closed. Okay, so Latvia closing two border crossings, border checkpoints with Russia. And we also had a U.S. Navy P-8 Poseidon subhunter plane fly through the Taiwan Strait yesterday, or actually earlier this morning, towards China. And apparently, the Eastern Command of the Chinese Air Force sent forces on duty to intercept and escort the aircraft. This is coming from the Chinese Defense Ministry. So the U.S. sent a P-8 Poseidon subhunter plane towards China. They flew across the Taiwan Strait, across the median line. Okay. So I want to just update you on Israel. Lots of news coming out from Israel. Right now, we have a nuclear war command and control plane with the call sign Dolly 71 active over the southern United States. And we had this aerial refueler off the coast of Long Island doing loops out here in the Atlantic. And they've been doing these loops out there for like the past couple of days. Every day there's this strato tanker out there, so I'm not sure what's going on off the coast of Long Island, but pretty much almost every day the last week or so I've seen a strato tanker out here. There's also a P-8 Poseidon subhunter plane patrolling off the coast of Cape Cod and Maine. So that's pretty interesting. And what's really interesting about this P-8 is that it took off from Patuxent River. And usually Patuxent River is where they have all the high priority planes. Okay. So there must be something going on over here for them to send a P-8 out there. Maybe there's a Russian sub out there. There was also a U.S. doomsday plane, a presidential doomsday plane that was moved from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base to Offutt Air Force Base. Okay, so pretty interesting. And here's another shot showing the presidential doomsday plane this morning that was moved from Wright-Patterson to Offutt Air Base. And then here's that aerial refueler off the coast of Long Island. It has the call sign Maine 86. Okay, so I want to start reading off some headlines to you. So pay attention because there's a lot of them. So Lebanese groups announced a general mobilization of their troops for war against Israel. This is what is being reported on social media. Okay, so various Lebanese groups are announcing a general mobilization for war against Israel. Britain is going to be sending 2 Royal Navy ships to the Eastern Mediterranean and will begin surveillance overflights of Israel in a show of military support designed to reassure Israel, the Times newspaper reported without citing a source. Okay, so this is coming from the UK Times. Okay, the British Ministry of Defense had no immediate comment on the report. The Times said 2 Royal Fleet auxiliary vessels would be sent to the region, and that's in addition to that aircraft carrier that the UK is going to be sending to the Eastern Mediterranean. So uh, lots of NATO warships heading to Israel, okay, at this moment. We have some breaking news coming from Iran. Various sources are reporting huge military movements of the Iranian military ground forces, and specifically they're moving towards the southwestern regions in Iran, close to the southern border with Iraq. Apparently, there were various armored vehicles of the 92nd Armored Division of Avaz being transferred to Karamabad, and apparently there were T-72s, M1 tanks, Karar tanks, M113 armored personnel carriers. Not sure how they got a hold of those. I guess from Iraq or Afghanistan. M548 ammunition carriers, a bunch of other stuff. So lots of heavy metal going westward in Iran towards Iraq. Okay. We have the Iranian president saying what is happening in Gaza and the occupied territories is a crime against humanity. Reports of more Israeli heavy artillery being moved towards the Lebanon border this morning. More M109 howitzers. I saw videos. I cannot share the videos for, OPSEC reasons. I don't want to give away the, positions of these, artillery pieces. I don't want to put Israeli forces in danger in any way. But I did see credible footage. Okay, so Israel is continuing to reinforce their border with Lebanon. The Iranian foreign minister will arrive in Lebanon today for consultations with Hezbollah officials. And we have the Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah saying that we have long range missiles from Russia and Iran, and we are able to use them to destroy the American fleet in the Mediterranean. America knows this. Okay. So he's threatening the U.S., saying that they have long range missiles, anti ship missiles, probably of some kind, or maybe, I don't know, ballistic missiles from Russia and Iran that can take out aircraft carriers. Okay. Pro Palestinian sources are saying that Israeli Defense Forces attack helicopters are now airborne over southern Lebanon, and also more rockets have been fired into northern Israel from Lebanon. Okay. The Times of Israel is reporting that the Israeli Defense Forces have deployed reservists on the border with Lebanon. The forces are carrying out various urban defense tasks, including patrolling, organizing ambushes, and setting up roadblocks to ensure the safety of residents. Okay, so that's coming from the Times of Israel. Lebanese groups warned that they would turn U.S. aircraft carriers into submarines. And what you're looking at here is a picture that was released by one of these Lebanese groups showing an aircraft carrier on fire. Um, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps affiliated telegram said that the Qassam brigades are prepared to launch a heavy rocket arsenal towards Israel soon. Okay, so that's the Iranian military affiliated telegram saying Qassam brigades are prepared to launch a heavy rocket arsenal towards Israel soon. We have the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz saying that Hezbollah must not enter the fighting. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Tel Aviv and he gave a speech with um, Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. So I want to just read to you some of the highlights from that. So he said that we know that Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people. The U.S. works to free hostages. The U.S. will supply arms for Iron Dome, and the first shipment has arrived. Other shipments on the way. He confirmed that at least 25 Americans have been killed, and Blinken promised that just as ISIS was destroyed, Hamas will also be destroyed. And we have some breaking news that the office of Benjamin Netanyahu shared some photos of babies being murdered and burned alive by Hamas with Secretary of State Antony Blinken. We have some breaking news coming from Twitter. Apparently, Twitter has begun deleting Hamas related accounts. The management of Twitter said it has deleted hundreds of Hamas related accounts as well as thousands of posts following the militants' attacks on Israel. Earlier, the European Union gave the social network 24 hours to remove illegal content and misinformation related to the Palestinian Israeli conflict in order not to face fines under the EU's recently passed Digital Services Act. CEO Linda Yaccarino said the company has redistributed resources and refocused internal teams who are working around the clock to address this rapidly evolving situation. So we have Israel's energy minister saying that there will be no light or water in the Gaza Strip until Israeli hostages are released. Israeli authorities believe that Hamas is hiding captured hostages underground. This was stated by the IDF spokesman Jonathan Conricus in a commentary for CNN. Okay, so hostages being held underground. The energy minister refusing to turn utilities back on until hostages are released. The Israeli Air Force apparently struck an elite Hamas unit in the Gaza Strip whose militants led the initial attack on Israel. This was reported by Jerusalem Post. And the IDF began dropping leaflets over parts of the Gaza Strip, and the leaflets read, "For your safety, you must leave your homes immediately and go to shelters. The IDF is not interested in harming you or your family members. Anyone who is near Hamas terrorists or terrorist targets will put their lives in danger." Okay, so here's one of those leaflets. Okay, if you want to take a screenshot and use Google Lens to translate it, you can do it for yourself. But Israel's basically handing out leaflets now, which means that they're about to do some kind of massive bombing campaign. Okay, and they're giving the civilians an opportunity to get out. Okay, and the UN and the West are trying to open a humanitarian corridor through Egypt. Okay, so I don't think we've seen the full bombardment of Gaza yet. I think that's still to come, and I don't think the ground of invasion has started yet. I think that Israel is waiting for the civilians to evacuate, and then they're going to start pounding Gaza, and then they're going to go in on the ground with 300,000 plus men. Okay, and but looks like Lebanon and Syria, Iran, they're going to join in, and that's going to really complicate things. So the UK Foreign Ministry office said that they have asked families of British diplomats in Israel to leave the country for at least 2 months. Okay, so they're saying get out of Israel and don't come back for at least 2 months. So they're expecting this war to last a long time. If they're telling their diplomats that you have to leave for at least 2 months, that's a long time. The French Foreign Ministry is saying that they will organize additional flights to evacuate French citizens from Israel on Friday and Saturday. Okay, and I want to just share some more flight paths with you. Here we have a Finnish reconnaissance plane. This is the first time I've seen one of these in the Baltics, and it flew from Tampere in Finland, and then it went along the border with Russia in Estonia and Latvia, and then it flew down towards Kaliningrad, turned around, and came back. And at the same time, there was a U.S. reconnaissance plane flying in the Baltics through the Suwalki Gap and in northeastern Poland. And at the same time, there was a Russian Air Force plane that flew from St. Petersburg to Kaliningrad. It was an Antonov 148. Okay, so very, very interesting. But guys, the situation is just spiraling out of control. There's so much news coming in. It's hard for me to keep up. I'm going to continue to monitor the situation. I will put out at least one more update later on this evening. Okay, so stay tuned for that. But make sure you guys are getting prepared because really, I've never felt this way in my life before. You know, I've lived through 9/11, I lived through the pandemic, and obviously Ukraine, but this is something different. Okay, I have never seen this type of attack on Israel before. This is an unprecedented attack on Israel, and it's a biblical attack. And if you read the Bible, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 and 39, says that Israel is going to draw Russia down into the Middle East. Okay, God is going to put hooks in the jaw of Gog. Okay, Gog is the leader of Magog, which many people believe is Russia. It may not be Russia. It could be Turkey or something, but let's assume it's Russia. This could be the beginnings of the Ezekiel 38-39 war with Israel, and the way Israel would draw in Magog or Russia or whoever Magog is they would start bombing Syria or bombing Iran. And once they start doing that, you're going to have the bigger powers, okay, that are allies with those countries come to the rescue of those countries, and then they're going to attack Israel in retaliation. So let's say, for example, Israel levels Damascus. Okay, Russia would then try to attack Israel in response, okay, because Syria is one of their allies. Okay, they have bases there. Same thing with Iran. If the U.S. and Israel, destroy Iran with nukes, they destroy all their bases and stuff. Russia's not going to be happy about that because that's one of their main allies. Okay. And I just wanted to mention a channel that you guys should follow if you want breaking news coverage. Here's one of my buddies, Duramax, and he does 24/7 breaking news coverage. He covers the emergency action messages. He has cameras up around Israel and different hot zones around the country. He also tracks the airplanes like I do. Okay, except he does it 24/7. He has a stream that he keeps up all day and all night, so you can pop in and see, what's going on with the EAMs. You can see what kind of airplanes are in the air. You can see some cameras of different cities in Israel and different parts of Ukraine and see what's going on. And then, of course, you can interact with the chat, which is very helpful because there's a lot of intelligence that comes through that chat. So check him out, Duramax. He's a buddy of mine, good guy from Kentucky. Check him out. So get prepared, guys. Things can really spiral out of control. The situation is continuing to escalate, as you can see by all the news I just read to you. So stay tuned to my channel for continuing coverage of the war in Israel and also in Ukraine. And like I said, I will do another update this evening. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you can get notified when I upload these updates. Okay, but be on the lookout this evening. I will do another update. So until then, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.